All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to just talk about a few last things in this module surrounding debt. So the first one I want to discuss are auto loans. Okay. Auto loans are a highly debated topic, especially it's viewed as one of the bad forms of debt often because typically a car, an automobile is a depreciating asset. I mean, you lose value. We've all heard kind of the common tropes of once you drive a car off the lot, like a brand new car, it loses like 40% of its value right off the front or whatever those statistics are. It's all fine and good, but auto loans can be fine or they can be bad. Okay. And so you just have to be careful about which ones you have. All right. So a couple principles here to keep in mind. Number one, don't get an auto loan with a payment that is going to severely restrict how much you're able to spend and save for the future. We just talked about the importance of expenses and savings, annual savings. So even if an auto loan is only going to be around for 5 years or 6 years or whatever, that could have a big impact if that auto loan is $1,000 a month versus $250 a month. That's a lot of cash flow that is being tied up in a personal use asset. I mean, it's not an investment, generally speaking, with very few exceptions. It's not an investment asset. It's a personal use asset. And so you're losing value. Okay. So generally speaking, you want to make sure that number one, your auto payment is not eating into your future ratio. It's just going to keep you further from your goals. Okay. That's number one. Number two is it also depends on the length of time that you have a car. Okay. Some people say don't buy new cars ever because they lose so much value and all of that stuff. Well, I've gone the route of buying a cheap car and paid the price. I bought a car once. I think it was like $6,000 or maybe I think it was like around $7,000 or $7,500. I was like, I want to pay for this car in cash. No auto loans for me. Buy the car. Okay. Saved up the money, whatever, bought the car. 6 months down the road, the engine blew up as I was on the freeway. Okay. It just clunk, 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 clunk. The pistons got all thrown out of whack and the engine was essentially shot. And so I had to replace the entire engine. That cost me about $4,500 to do. And I debated a long time, like, should I even do this or should I not? And I ended up deciding, well, I'll probably end up keeping this car. So I'll just get a new engine and then keep it and it'll be worth the cost. But at that point, I was already spending $12,000 or $13,000 on a car. And I could have just bought a much newer one that had more reliability or was still under warranty or whatever. And so it's not as easy as people say, like, don't buy new or always buy used, all that stuff. Sure, whatever. Bottom line is, if you're saving what you need to save for the future, it doesn't matter where else the money goes. Doesn't matter if it's spent on an auto loan or at the movies or at a restaurant or on clothes or travel. You decide what's important to you, and that's how it's decided. Okay? So for auto loans, just make sure it's not infringing too much on your future value, and also make sure that you understand how long you're going to have this car. So let's say that you use cars for a long time, like 10 years. Well, in that case, you're going to more than pay off the loan, and then you're going to get plenty of use out of that car. That's fine. Some people trade out cars every 3 years, and that can be tough because you're having to always pay off the previous loan. You know, you sell your car for less than what you have the loan on it for, and then you roll that into the next car, and that can kind of be a slog. So if you're buying too many new cars and financing them and they're losing value and then you're selling them and moving on, that can kind of be a little bit of treading water, like a little bit of quicksand. But if you're holding on to these cars, you're like, look, I take care of it, I'm going to use it for 10 years or whatever, then you're probably okay. And go get a new car if you want. Like, great. That's what you always dreamed of, then go get the new car. Okay. It doesn't matter to me. So again, focus on how much you're saving, not on how much you're spending as much. It's still important, but it's not as important. Okay. You just have to remember that this cost, if you are accustomed to having new cars in retirement, you're probably going to continue to be accustomed to having new cars. So if you buy a new car every 5 years, as soon as your auto loan is paid off or whatever, you go get a new one and you rinse and repeat, then you just have to factor in an auto loan cost as part of your annual expenses that you are preparing for in retirement. Whereas if you have a car that's paid off, then that cost to you is much less. It's much less of a burden on your portfolio to draw money from. Okay. So Those are a few kind of random principles around auto loans. I think we all pretty much understand how they work. So I'm not going to get into all the nitty gritty details. They're pretty basic, but just a few principles as you approach it. In the next couple of videos, we'll cover these other topics and we'll wrap up this module. See you then.
Spend wisely, save intentionally, live freely.